Well, the language wars have begun, and it's not just stars but netas who've jumped into it. I want to go straight across to Vasu Dikshit, musician with us, Indrajit Lankesh, Indian filmmaker, producer and director, Chetan Kumar, actor, and of course Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi continues to be with us. Chetan Kumar, what's wrong with Hindi being the link language? After all, nobody is making it and imposing Hindi, but you know, English is a foreign language. Hindi is something that originated here, and if you have to make yourself understood, many people say Hindi can be the link language. You think you have a problem with that?
We definitely have a problem with that. Just as English is a foreign language, Hindi is foreign to us. Kannada, Karnataka is our Indianness. This is being constructed as a binary between Hindi-speaking North Indian stars and South Indian stars. What it actually is a fight between those of us who believe in the idea of India, federalism, plurality, and language equality, and those who want to put in language chauvinism and a monolithic identity, which is unconstitutional and un-Indian. For 70 years, these political parties, from Indira Gandhi, Nehru, and Lal Bahadur Shastri to Modi and Amit Shah, have been forcing Hindi down our throats. We cannot accept this. Even today, the national education policy has a three-language formula. We don't want to learn Hindi. It makes us second-class citizens if we have to learn your mother tongue. And these comments by Ajay Devgan show that he's not just arrogant, but he's especially ignorant. And the comments, it's better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. So in this situation, it's clearly chauvinism. And what is going on is that language rights are being curbed. And even in terms of Hindi Divas, Hindi Divas is something that is constitutionally mandated in Article 343. They are taking our tax money in Karnataka. Karnataka Hindi is not one of our languages. We have many languages in Karnataka. Kannada is not the only language. We have Badi, Kodava, Tulu, Lambani, even Urdu. These are all our languages of Karnataka. We will take care of our languages. But you cannot make this a tyranny of the majority, and you cannot use our taxpayer money for Hindu Divas. We want all 22 languages of the 8th schedule as official languages, not just Hindi and English, because we are all equal and we want equal rights. We are all Indian and we want rights according to that fight.
You're saying we are all Indians, but Madhu joining us, Roja girl Madhu with us. And Madhu, how do you respond to this controversy? Because Chetan Kumar very passionately is making it us versus them. Does language make a divide between us versus them?
Hi, Navika. I'm really happy to be here. But I really have a strong point of view that tells me, I would like to share this feeling that language is a tool to unite people and nations. And I'm really not for using it as a divisive way. Hindi is a beautiful language and it connects India. Like I was telling earlier to someone that when my Roja released in the year 92 in Tamil, it was a huge hit. But only when it was dubbed and released in Hindi did the whole nation or the whole of the country saw it. So Hindi is just a language of connectivity, and that is how it's a tool to connect human beings, and especially art has no language. And when artists, there are amazing movies coming out of the South, and the only way to show it to the other parts of the country is in a language that everyone understands. So this whole controversy about whether Hindi is the national language or should be taught or should be, I think it's totally political, and I'm not a very political person. For me, as an artist, it is beautiful that our films are getting dubbed, and I really think the OTT platform has a huge role to play in this. Today, we are watching Korean films, French films, Turkish films, and we are exposed to their culture and their movies. And that is what is happening. A South Indian film is being shown everywhere and it's appreciated. So we as a one nation, as one country, should be proud and happy that we are being integrated and not to use this as a debate to divide and separate.
And Indrajit Lankesh, I want to ask you, what's wrong with that interpretation? You know, Madhu says it so beautifully. She says it was a Tamil film when she appeared in Roja, but it's only after it was dubbed that it really went across to the masses and people saw it. Where is the problem?
See, first of all, Ajay Devgan is an amazing actor. He's a national awardee and he's good in his craft. But when it comes to politics, when it comes to language, he's ignorant, as Chetan said, because Hindi is not at all a national language. In our constitution, it's not there that the Hindi is not mentioned as our Rashtriya Bhasha, not our language at all. And as Madhu said, Roja is an amazing film. Roja is an incredible film, but it was dubbed in Hindi during the 80s or 90s, I think. But now the scenario is completely changed. Now, the Dravidian languages, what it was, they didn't have a stage before, to project their talent, their art, their creativity. Now, the OTT is a big platform where we can show our talent and language and creativity. Take the example of Bahubali. Take the example of RRR. Take the example of KGF, Pushpa. They're all big hits today because of the borders being connected, the languages being connected through the OTT platform and the internet. So today is a different scenario wherein Hindi was dominating for a long time. And as Siddiqui is told, that Bollywood should be changed into Hindi films. Yeah, definitely I agree. He should change it into Hindi films. But whereas me coming from Karnataka and Bangalore, we respect our language. In fact, someone coming from Tamil Nadu, he respects his language, Tamil Nadu. And we have all come to the streets protesting against the imposition of Hindi into our state, but not encouraging Kannada. In fact, in 1937, the Periyar movement started. You should know about the history, wherein Hindi was kind of imposed into the schools of Tamil Nadu. Periyar movement started during that time, and against the Hindi language, they succeeded.
My dear friend, nobody is wanting to impose anything.
Of course,
if you say Kannada is a beautiful language, yes, we believe you. There is no dispute in that. There is no dispute that Kannada is beautiful, Tamil is beautiful, Malayalam is beautiful, but so is Hindi. Why such antipathy towards Hindi? I don't know.
Navika, my dear friend Navika, 1 minute. Ajay Devgan tweeted in Hindi, whereas Sudeep gently tweeted in English back. Just imagine if he had tweeted in Kannada. Would Ajay Devgan would have understood the tweet? No. Why can't Ajay Devgan learn Kannada to understand our language? So respect our language. We respect Hindi. We respect the other languages.
What Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, if Hindi, if you just do a population census, probably Hindi is understood by more people in this country than these individual languages in the south or any other part, or Gujarati, or maybe some of the northeastern languages, or Bengali. They have limitations because they are understood in one state. Do you think making Hindi a link language has something to do with dishonoring other languages, or do you think this vociferous response that's coming even from within the BJP is because just identity and politics has got linked with the language?
I would like to start with Mr. Lankesh one sentence. Why don't you try to learn Kannada? Yes, sir, I expect, but I would like to put forth that other than Karnataka, nowhere BJP remain in power. Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam put forth in front of the country that how many students were going in their regional languages school 75 years back, and what is the percentage today. You will have a clear picture what will happen after 75 years. All is sacrificed at the expense of English. Even in the Andhra, they have officially adopted English, sir, and done away with the Telugu in the elementary schools. And they are doing nothing, and they are very much happy. And as far as Mr. Chetan is concerned, I would like to ask, among languages of Kannada, he has also said Urdu. Bhai, Urdu ki script Arabic hai. Word Farsi ke hai. And the grammar is of Hindi. I am unable to understand from where the Urdu has emerged. And last thing, it's not the issue of India, Navika. If you ask about in the entire world, after Hollywood, which is the biggest film industry, it is Bollywood. It is the Hindi film industry. We are ahead of Chinese. We are ahead of Koreans. We are ahead of Japanese. And that's why, look at the grand movie, Bahubali. अरे बाहुबली अगर सिर्फ तेलुगु में बनी होती और बाहुबली हिंदी में है, लुक एट द लेवल ऑफ बिजनेस, लुक एट द, और मैं ये भी कहना चाहता हूं हिंदी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री के लीजेंडरी एक्टर्स मोस्टली नॉन हिंदी स्पीकिंग स्टेट से हुए, फ्रॉम हेमा मालिनी जी टू श्रीदेवी टू माधुरी दीक्षित, all were from the non-Hindi speaking state. And lastly, I would like to say, because I belong a political party, when in Constituent Assembly, Hindi should be the national language of India, किसने कहा? स्वामी दयानंद सरस्वती गुजराती, महात्मा गांधी गुजराती, सरदार पटेल गुजराती, कन्हैया लाल माणिक लाल मुंशी मराठी, और श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी बंगाली, एम गोपाल स्वामी अयंगर तमिल. But unfortunately, it was the Nehru who created all the problem, who are from the Hindi speaking state. Otherwise, we respect everybody. भाई एक बात पूछना चाहता हूं, आपने एक बात कही, मुझे तो लगता है कि हिंदी से अच्छे शब्द हिंदी के दूसरी भाषाओं में है. वितंडावाद इज अ वर्ड यूज्ड इन तेलुगु एंड तमिल. इट इज अ वेरी गुड Hindi. We say in Hindi sagai ya roka. In Tamil it is said nishchitartham samaro. It is a very good Hindi. In Hindi we said jaldi jaldi. In Kannada it is said vega vega. It's a very good Hindi. We say ladka ladki. In Kannada it is said balak balika. It is a very good Hindi. So the problem
why
is
are we building walls when we actually need to drop them?
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to say when I was growing up, Doordarshan was the only channel that we had as a form of entertainment. And we only heard Hindi. And we thought entertainment is only through that language. And I learned a lot of Hindi. I started making songs in Hindi. Only much later, I realized that, okay, there are other forms of entertainment as well. There are other languages in which you can entertain. And I started writing in Kannada. And I felt so much power, so much freedom singing in my own language. And I want to tell you that 10 years back, we toured the UK and we sang Hindi songs, we sang Kannada songs. The people there who are not aware what is the difference between these languages enjoyed each and every song, jumped, cried. Without any difference of
absolutely. I completely agree with you, Vasu, because this is not about your language or my language. These are our languages. That is why we make this a beautiful India. Why are we using this to divide ourselves, and why are we making? And Chetan, I have a problem with that line when you say us and them. It's not about us and them. We are in it together. We are part of India. Whether it's Hindi, whether it's Kannada, whether it's Tamil or Telugu. Because this is one country. And the diversity is what makes it so wonderful. Thank you very much for joining me on the Newshour tonight. Good night. Take care. Padmaja Joshi.